Reactor online. Sensors online. Weapons online. All systems nominal.
Well, fuck me sideways! Hold the line! Hold the line! Hold the line! You shall not pass!
Oh no, you did not shoot that green shit at me!
I have you now.
Watch the birdie!
Must go faster.
Inconceivable!
Say hello to my little friend!
Come out, wherever you are.
Peekaboo!
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
It's over, Anakin! I'm at the high ground! Don't try it!
Armor piercing, loaded!
Special delivery!
Target to...
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Gotcha, bitch!
Something is right. How's everybody doing? I hope you're doing good. You guys know what time I'm doing here. You're doing here. I just screwed up the intro. And welcome to Syntax Live, everybody. Hopefully I'm coming in because I see everything is currently working. Got to make sure that's up. And here we are. And first things first, before I even get started, I need to not only thank everybody for being here, but I also have to click on here with a $10 super chat from Brian Kemp. Hey, Sin, check your email. Enjoying the stories. Thanks. And Brian, actually, I'm glad you did this because, yes, I checked my emails. I got the confirmation and everything. Thank you very much. Haven't received anything yet. Hold on. About to say the magic word here. If I can get to scroll down. But looking forward to it, my friend. And thank you very much. Extremely appreciated. All right. And but probably be here on Friday. That's what it said. So again, thank you. That drink was for everybody. And here's to you, Brian. Thank you very much. And yes, it is my apple juice on the rocks again tonight. I have a feeling I'm going to be pretty well snookered by the end of this show. But hey, it is what it is. That's why I have other stuff to mix in. Anyways, once again, thanks everybody for being here. I'm going to jump right into it because we got a whole bunch of stuff to cover. First off is the series that we just finished up called A Runaway What? And this is why I wish I had the soundboard still working so I can go, what? And then all that fun stuff. At this point, believe it or not, that series was supposed to start Runaway Groom, and it took on a life of its own. It was originally supposed to be a two-parter, just that. And it, like I said, it took off by itself. And
What? What the fuck?
what the fuck is we have a $10 super chat from Deathbed Question, also known as I Can Fix Her. And he says, if inspiration hits, maybe something further with the Kaibar, prequel or sequel, single or series. On that one in particular, hold on, I'm trying to write this down. FS. I actually have to put the initials in here, ICFH, I Can Fix Her, so I don't forget to. Here's the thing about that one. That one was supposed to continue, but I was watching the view count just drop precipitously as it went on. For some reason, it wasn't grabbing any new audience or not holding on to them. Now, the original idea with that was, I kid you not, as soon as everybody went to the bargaining table and everybody was distracted, that's when the Szechuan, also known as, and by the way, I got the word from Szechuan as in the spicy type of meal. And the Kaibar, which I got from K-Bar, the knife, were supposed to actually be invaded along with the humans at the same time. There was supposed to be at least 2, maybe 3 other different species that were going to say, you know what, let's take this while they're distracted. And before they even know what's going on, we'll have crippled their forces. And it literally was going to end that next episode with, oh, shit, here we go again. So it could go further. That one is pretty simple. Now, as far as the Kaibar, with them deciding whether or not to be changed, altered, whatever phrase you want to go, whether they want to stay that way or whatever, that is a very, very intricate story. That one gets a little cerebral, a little too much for just casual listeners. That being said, everybody on tonight is, I know, a whole hell of a lot smarter, and you guys like the more intricate stuff. So, just to let you know, it was going to be there. And that was a drink for the I Can Fix Her. I got a whole bunch of stuff coming in, so I got to pull off here. Hey, hold on.
Giggity, giggity, giggity goo. Stick around.
And I got a $5 super chat from, or sorry, let me just super chat from the Guardian Sage. Thinking you're enjoying the fake no visuals when you switch from videos to live too much. That actually, believe it or not, was a mistake in editing. That's all that was, and I just decided to keep it. Because what it does is it gives me a couple seconds to double check everything, make sure it's good, just like I actually did. Believe it or not, there was a couple buttons I had to push. I didn't realize I hadn't got them. It does help me out there. And actually, however, or I should say, but if it is getting a little confusing for everybody, guys, let me know, and I will go in, I will change it, I will edit it, I will do what I need to remove it. That being said, I got another $10 super chat from Skip. How you doing? He actually had his whole week lined up and was ready to rock and roll already, but he's already jumping in again with Sin. I enjoyed the human ingredient. I even got got a chuckle out of it. Sorry, I got a camera in my way when I'm doing this, guys, which is why I'm trying to get downstairs. We're going to be talking about that one, guys, because it has pissed me off so fucking much. But yeah, the human ingredient, I'm glad it got you a chuckle. A lot of folks I actually had in the comments or right below in the description box, if anybody knew which ingredients, quote unquote, I was talking about. Only one person answered. And yes, it was a bit of a different type of something you can ingest or inhale in this case. And so I can't say it directly or this whole stream gets potentially gets nuked. But let me write down. Oh, wait, I already did. Let me leave that there because we also have, and by the way, thank you, Skip. And we got another $10 super chat from Erica Gem. Why did I forget to do? I'll get you guys with your sound effects on the back end. I fucked that up. Sorry about that. And Erica says, thank you for amazing series. Loved Human Ingredient. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I really am. And guys, I will be giving you here in a little bit of a surprise. Hopefully it is a bit of a surprise. But for right now, let me just jump back over here. Let's scroll this up a little bit, make sure everything is good. Oh, you guys you're jumping in. Back in is the MTF Guard with a $10 super chat, and Guard is here.
May the Schwartz be with you.
And he says, sent you 2 videos earlier. Hope you were able to get them. I was not. Best part is there from the same match with the tank, the Object 906. I kept checking up until about an hour ago, and nothing came in. I don't know why. They just didn't. Sometimes with videos, there's a delay of about 12 to 24 hours. Sometimes it really depends. I don't have the premium stuff on there, so it's not like they're going to push me way to the top. I can pretty much guarantee I'll have them by next week. I could possibly look again while we're going through, or I should say, but right now, not so much. But I will double check, Guard, and thank you for the super. I very much appreciate it. And, you got, thank you again to Guard, Erica. Oh yeah, Guard is sorry. For the Emperor. Why do I get Guard and freaking Guardian Sage backwards? I'm sorry, guys. And actually, I think it was Sage. I think you're the one who told me that I got you guys backwards the other day. Sorry about that, guys. Because we got. I already did. Guard with the yogurt. I did Erica with her theme song. I did Sage with Guard was the Emperor, then Sage was the yogurt. Then honestly, question, I don't know what to use for you. So I'll give you a long one.
X doesn't trust me right now.
Really? Why not?
Because I got to use a sniper rifle and I ended up unloading a round into her ass.
Hey, chicka-bum-bum.
Caboose, what did I tell you about that?
Sorry.
And we also have the big man, Brian. Woo. Okay. It wasn't the pipes that gave me the shiver. It was the apple juice that tastes like bourbon. And then, of course, where is it? And then we got Skip.
All hands to battle stations.
Well, I need to Skip. You got to let me know if there's something else I should use for you, because we did have. Now I had it for Sir, and we're not even sure if he's still around. He was another Navy guy, and we had an actual general quarters lined up for him. It was a little long, however, we did use it. Anyway, thank you guys again. Want to make sure that we got the sound effects done. All right, downshift back to where we were. All right, let me put it back up here. The runaway. What? A few of the comments were everybody were questioning about the battle cry. Leroy Jenkins. There was a bit of a subtext in that. I don't know. Let me know if it was too subtle. The idea was when the Admiral let that go, it was meant to confuse the crap out of the other side, to allow the humans first shot. Okay. In any type of space warfare, do not ever underestimate first shot. Okay. It is so vastly important, because if you can get that first shot off, a lot of times the other side will panic and maneuver so that their first shot will miss, or your first shot could possibly get them before they even have a chance to respond. That is so unbelievably important. Somebody mentioned how they also introduced all the Xenos to a human furball, which is in fact a old phrase. I don't know if pilots still use that. If there is a pilot, you got to, in the audience, let me know. if the whole idea of a furball is still a common phrase for when everybody gets meshed up together and you're just trying not to get shot while shooting away. It's, yeah. And they're, we'll catch you later, Brian. He actually mentioned that beforehand. He was getting his dinner ready. So anyways, that's one of the key things with a lot of sci-fi is they like to only have one or the other. It's either two giant fleets at fucking standoff distance and they're having a slug match, just trying to throw enough downfield that they hit something, or they're like Trekkie Treks where they're like right up in front of each other and it's a knife fight, usually of like one ship against another. That's their big things, like one-on-one ship battles. And Erica, you're right. First shot is important in most battles. However, it really depends on weapon systems. The reason why it's so important in space compared to naval warfare, especially nowadays, is the fact that there's nothing in between you. And the fact that if you're using energy weapons, especially, or something's like 0.5 speed of light ballistic, you're not getting out of the way fast enough. Nowadays, with most of our naval engagements, you're talking 5-10 minutes for that missile to strike its target. So it's not as big of a deal. I will say, as a grunt like me, ambush, yes, first shot is beyond important. You just got to make sure you hit your target, which is usually why it's set off with a claymore. And if you don't know what a claymore does, it's messy. All right. Some people were asking about if the Kaibar were like Kif from Futurama. This was before I let everybody know what was going on. You guys were pretty close, okay? The whole idea of the mutation was already preset, so don't think that you swayed me away. It was just the way it came out. Now, bear in mind, everybody, that there's always a type of twist. I have to do that because I don't want to sound like some regular AI channel. Okay? Those guys are so freaking boring. Oy. It's kind of crazy. Every once in a while, if I'm driving, I'll throw one on and I'm just sitting there like, this is bullshit. This is boring. It's like listening to those drama tales and you're just like, what the hell? They talk about teachers that don't make money or nurses that don't make money. I'm like, what the fuck, over? I know I actually have family who are teachers, people who are nurses. I know what the hell's going on. So what it is, it's up for extra drama. And I'm sorry, just no. It makes me wish I had a whole thing. Oh, I forgot to throw this for recap incoming. Oopsie, there goes that joke. Anyway. Back to the comments here. I won't mention who. But they mentioned how the names for the terraforming vessels were considered the perfect names. The two sister vessels were, again, Secret Garden and Southern Garden. However, thinking of those, when I actually came up with the names, do yourself a favor. Put your mind in the gutter. What would you think is someone's Sacred Garden or Southern Garden? So yeah, it was kind of a joke. At the same time, it just kind of worked. Not to mention the Sacred Garden, the original Sacred Garden was Eden. So that's actually where that first came from. And then I was like, you know what? I want to make a joke about this. All right. I won't mention who. I believe it was Skip. Talked about Culking Fields on battleships and how he fully approves. I'm like, dude, that is mandatory for space warfare. You do not want to be seen on approach because they'll just aim their weapons where you're going to come out of FDL and you're not even going to have first shot capability. You're not going to have any shot capability because they'll do a time on target on your ass. So that was the whole idea, that one. Or that's what I should say. That is why any type of disruption field or anything like that is pretty much mandatory for any type of military vessels. And by the way, if you guys remember, I did an entire series where that was kind of the twist, hint, hint. So, and that went over very well. Anywho's, here was a funny comment about the Kaibar. Oh, you're having a baby? Is it a boy or a girl? Yup. And by the way, that was that whole thing about mixing up where they're basically the same or have both sets and everything. That in and of itself, I just thought was funny, and I threw that in. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if I go too far on this, you know, just to make sure, because again, that's what the stream is for, guys. Let me know where I fuck up. Let's see. And yes, I did have to tap dance around the algorithm a lot. So if it sounded like I was like talking out of my ass, that's why, guys. I mean, I gotta do what I gotta do. And it is what it is. Let's see. I already mentioned this, but Runaway Groom, it was actually the reason I changed it to Runaway What is because as I was going through, I realized it was a runaway groom, a runaway bride, a runaway warfare, and runaway genetics. It was just everything was just running away. And the only people that kept their brains about them, their minds about them, was the one that stepped back, stayed within their own borders, and go, I'm not getting mixed up in this bullshit. Except for, you know, a little bit of humanitarian work. Let's see. All right. Here's one, and now this comes down to fantasy because I mentioned this before. How elves are usually very feminine looking. And if you even Tolkien's work, the elves were all very, very feminine. That's why the whole dwarves calling them pretty little girls and stuff like that. That was meant to be a major insult. And it kind of was, and it kind of wasn't at the same time. That being said, it's referencing them, and the comment I got was they're always thin, they're always feminine, and they're always tall. That last part, I kind of have to sort of disagree with you because that really depends on whose work you're talking about. They're always thin to the point where, again, the women, unless they're pregnant, kind of like they did in Avatar with the blue Smurfy cats, the women don't grow any chesticles until they're actually getting ready to breastfeed. And that's just what it is. And we got another $10 super chat from Guardian Sage. Let me make sure that I got the right one. Oh, that's right. You had this one. Or you know what? No, we just did that one. So, damn it.
It's a trap.
There we go. All right. It says, thank you for mentioning my approval. Your tech is still primitive compared to the Guardian Order, but it works perfect for your enemies. We are at similar or slightly lower tech level. Okay. And I got nothing else to say on that. I got thank you very much, Guardian. Let me write that, get that in there. Yep. Okay. All right. All right. That ended up the last of the comment section for Runaway What? And moves us over to the human ingredient. And yes, it took me a while to find a halfway decent picture for this, because one of the key things is, yes, an alien's cooking, but if you look, one side they got like grapes or pears or something. It looks like a jar of paprika. And it looks like broccoli or something over there. There's rhubarb above the pears and whatnot. Those are all obviously human things. But what he's cooking on looks very, very alien. And I just wanted to kind of throw that in there. And yes, it was meant to confuse. It was meant to be a little, I don't know, suggestive that something like it was like that same episode from the Twilight Zone. But guys, that shit's been done to freaking death. I didn't want to do that one again. Not a lot of comments because it just came out today. And by the way, it was supposed to come out midnight last night and just, oh God. It was just beyond screwed up. All right. Someone, I believe it was our wonderful Corman who was there, mentioned how the spice of life is good food, good friends, and good beer and wine. I'll drink to that. Somebody apparently put this in before they actually listened to the story, and it said, don't eat other sapients. That's just rude. I'll actually agree to that one. It is quite rude. Only a few times have I actually heard a story where they actually kind of made it make sense. Like if someone dies on the station and that, you know, there's only limited food, they like give them a quick memorial and then they chop the body up to feed the carnivores. Is what it is. It works. I mean, it worked in the context of the story. And again, I want to know if anybody else figured out the food goods. And yeah, Erica was right there with it. Human ingredient. It's higher than a kite, man. But that wasn't the ingredient, or I should say the only ingredient I talked about. Now, when it talked about something that insects work on that has to do with the moon, that was them getting confused because the honeymoon is something they're going to look up. It's talking about honey to help with certain things. I talked about the Joanna there and like 2 or 3 other things. Talked about Cheetos and Funyuns and stuff like that, which you guys gotta let me. I thought that was funny. Let me know if that made you chuckle. A few folks said they kind of got a laugh at the end, so I'm hoping that was it. And I honestly, I threw that one in because I thought I was being too subtle with having the pot brownies and whatnot. So it is what it is. So since there hasn't been out for very long, I don't have a lot of comments I could work on that one. But after that one, guess what? There is one dropping tonight, guys. And this one is going to be a little bit of science fiction with some fantasy mixed in. And yes, that does read, there is a demonite at my door. I was trying to get a better picture, but this is the best one I could get. That being said, guys, I hope you guys enjoy it. This will be the one dropping midnight. The only thing I'm waiting for is the same thing I've been writing down was who actually sent in the super chats. So is what it is. And I'm not going to give anything away. And as you guys know, don't judge it by the cover because there's always something else going on. Originally, I will say this, though. It was supposed to be there was a demon at my door, and I figured demonite just because we were joking about last week about the song There's a Demonite Under My Table. You guys want a really good one, though, to really get your blood going if you want to go party. Go Drunk on Promethium. I didn't even know what Promethium was. You guys know I'm not a huge 40K fan, but that shit was funny. Oh, man. And it's just so upbeat. You can't help but like it. I don't even know if it's AI or somebody actually wrote it. I hope somebody wrote it because it was actually really good. You know, it goes in with Wolfric the Wanderer and all that. You know, the goblin fucker and all that other fun shit. There was, what was it? The one with the dating app. I forget what the hell that one's called. You guys can help me out. Have to help me out there. But apparently, like once every 2 weeks, they're coming out with a new one. And it's all based on gaming. I'm hoping they do Battletech soon. Because you guys know how much of a Battletech fan I am. That being said, I'm looking over here on my assets here. And how far down did we go last time? I have no idea. So I'm going to start right here. All right, guys. Hopefully I didn't lose you. I'm trying to do something here real quick. Checking. Okay. Yeah. Let me know if I just blinked off the screen for a little bit. What I'm going to try and do is see if I can get those other clips in at the same time. Oh, there you are, guard. Let me see what I can do about up. God, you pain in the ass. All right. Not you guys. This computer can be a real pain in my friggin' nuts. All right. Hopefully all that will actually come into play here soon, and I'll be able to up or put it onto the channel. However, the reason I actually put the video on, because I'm changing my stuff here, and I'm changing subjects because we're going to be moving on to movies. Apparently, Star Wars is looking for changes. They're going to change back to the way they were. They're going to bring back the old ways. I am seriously doubtful. We have heard this song and dance before, and it's been a straight up lie. It's beyond annoying is what they're doing. I mean, seriously. And here, I'm trying to get an image on here where, I thought I had a Star Wars one up here. God damn it. Okay. Whatever. I'll leave that one for later. All right. But yeah, we've all heard this song and dance before. It's a total load of crap. It's total bullshit. And honestly, to me, Star Wars is dead. They killed it a long time ago. And it just, once you lose somebody as a watcher, especially for a series or a serial like that, you lose them pretty much forever. Speaking of not being able to do anything with a franchise, the whole thing about the Odyssey, you guys know that, how they got some skinny little girl who thinks she's a guy to play Achilles, and they got some of the homeliest women to play supposedly the face that launched 1,000 ships, which I was laughing so hard at one guy's review while I was driving that I almost had to pull the car over. They said the only way that lady would have launched 1,000 ship is if they're all getting on board to get away from her ass. That's what launched 1,000 ships. Is they're like, fuck this, we're out of here. This crazy banshee bitch. You know, it's absolutely nuts. And that was just kind of funny. But yeah, they're in total desperation mode. And they're using this as a way to say how DEI can work in a movie. Like if they force it down your throat, you're just going to sit there and swallow. No. You try and shove it down our throat, we just vomit. Because that's pretty much what it is. It's garbage. It's trash. It shouldn't be there. It's total. I hate to do this, guys. But it's just made by a bunch of Bolsheviks because it's total bullshit.
There, I said it. Bolsheviks. Bolsheviks. Now drink.
Yeah, I'm drinking too. Because God, it pisses me off so much. It just pisses me off so damn much that they took something that is one of the greatest literature fiction classes ever. Or not classes, but fiction stories ever made. Of its day, it was just amazing. And here they're just bastardizing the shit out of it. Now, I will say, as far as the original Odyssey, not this DEI piece of donkey turds, I'm talking about the original Odyssey. Somebody took the supposed map that Odysseus or whoever it was trying to actually get all the way home, and they overlaid it with the modern map, but they stretched it beyond the Mediterranean. They stretched it actually across the Atlantic. And I'll be damned, it friggin' matched. And it was kind of weird. Like they ended up in the Caribbean at one point and ended up going up the coast of America and then coming back over. I'm not saying that they actually did. I'm just saying if they were talking about like mermaids or whatnot, then yeah, maybe, yeah. Now it makes a little bit more sense. And let's face it, if you got swept out into the ocean by some sort of maelstrom you were trying to dodge, then you're going to be out there just trying to figure out which way you're going. And once you're far enough south, the winds coming off the African coast around just south of Algeria will just take your ass all the way across. That's how hurricanes travel all the way across. So it kind of makes the original Odyssey work better than it did before. So is what it is on that. Now, I got to go on to something. Hold on. Oh, God help us. I have to talk about Moana. The live action. What the fuck did I just watch? Moana. Oh, dear God. Hold on. I need a drink. I literally sat there and I watched the reviews real quick and said, what the fuck is that? Now, I knew Dwayne Johnson was too big and too skinny to play the role. So what they do, they put him in this giant marshmallow suit that doesn't help, by the way. It's too narrow at the middle to actually play that role. Dwayne Johnson can play Dwayne Johnson. His variance on acting is about as wide as this fucking pen. Okay, he can play himself and that's it. Just arrogant as all hell. Just like what's his name who played Lobo. He can't play anybody but himself and that's it. Okay, then typecast him for that, but don't try to make him shoehorn him into this other area where everybody says the same thing. He does not emote the same way. He doesn't move in anywhere close to the same way. He doesn't look like it. Sure, his voice matches up, but there's a reason why we give live action people a pass if they're not the same voice actor. That is a complete, they did it backwards. Just like Private Equity does everything backwards nowadays. They did everything backwards with Johnson. They should have got one of his fat ass friends from Polynesia somewhere, preferably somebody who's actually from Samoa. Oh, I would have enjoyed that shit. I might have actually liked to see it. Some actual Samoan going out there that looks like the Samoan that was in the fucking animated movie. Sorry for rambling on about this, guys, but it pisses me off because everybody's saying the same thing. You want to see a superior movie? Just watch the animated version. To my knowledge, there's never been a better live action compared to the anime. Not that I can remember off the top of my head. And it's just no. I actually have it right here in my notes that says literally, just no. Oh, God. And it was terrible. And what messes things up more is everybody is giving the actress who plays actual Moana a lot of credit. Apparently, she did as much of the movements as she actually studied for this role. Her facial movement, now nobody can emote as much as an actual 3D model. That's just not going to happen. However, she still tried to get as many as she could, even though it's basically a shot-for-shot remake. But everybody says the one thing, the girl can't sing. I'm sorry, lady. When it comes to singing, either you have it or you don't. I hate to say it this way because I personally believe that you can train yourself to do pretty much anything. Singing doesn't fall into that. Either you have it or not. If you have to be auto-tuned into oblivion like all those other Bouncy and her ilk and stuff like that, and what's her name? That 38-year-old or something just got married to the football player. She's auto-tuned to hell. All these supposed singers are auto-tuned to all shit. So maybe they can try that with her. Maybe they actually did and it just sounded bad. I don't know. But all I can say is why? You're pissing away money for no freaking reason. However, one good reason is a $10 super chat from the MTF guard. Now, I did the Schwartz already. Do I have anything else for you? Damn. Maybe, guard. You can be Dark Helmet.
How many assholes we got on this ship anyhow?
Go!
I knew it. I'm surrounded by assholes.
Keep firing, assholes!
Guard says, "Hey, YouTube is acting stupid when I try to send $20 for a super chat, but figure that I just need to send $10 at a time with a gap in between them. Suck it, YouTube." They have a hard line? That's weird. I didn't set one. You know what? I'm starting to think YouTube is picking and choosing who they want to actually have on here to the nth degree. And it's just, it's annoying. It really is. And thank you very much, Guard. I very much appreciate it. You guys know I'm never going to turn it down, but I'm never going to beg for it either. You know, just like some, you know what? Something's got to help me out. I'm never going to beg for it, but I'll never turn down any ass like that. Although then again, that's CGI, which is hard for. And that's actually one of the. No, Chris, you're talking now. Anyways, this is one of the things. I actually got in a screaming match with my nephew a while back, and they were saying how, they have nowadays all what do they call that, the body dysmorphia. I'm like, how about we pull up things like, I don't know, Arnold Schwarzenegger, He-Man, and all these other ones we had when I was a kid. You want to talk dysmorphia? Look at late 80s, early 90s cartoons. Holy jumping Jehoshaphat's. All right. The last one I'm going to hit when it comes to movies, guys. You guys all know it. You guys all hate it. It's Supergirl. And I swear, whoever designs these movies, whoever writes them, whoever produces them, just doesn't get it. Maybe, just maybe, they should actually read the fucking comics for once. But then again, you still got to bear in mind that these people don't care. They just want to shove in their politics. And it's bullshit. It's absolute bullshit of bullshit of bullshits. And it's crazy. It's so bad that they're actually bringing in characters that don't fit. And if they do bring the characters in, that they don't act like the character. You guys heard me bitch about Lobo last week. You know, it's crazy. Not only that, but when in the hell did Crypto actually like Kara? Okay, that dog hated that woman. Okay, in all the comics, Crypto always growled at her, never let, except for a few times, never let him or let her pet him and all that. Crypto was was vicious to her. They would not be hanging around. Not to mention, Crypto is not a puffball. Crypto is basically a golden retriever that's white. Okay, it's just it's making me reach for this apple juice more. Crazy. And out of all this, I mean, when it comes to Supergirl, there's one thing, you guys heard me say it before, and I'll say it again, because how do you fuck up Jimmy Olsen? That is got to be the easiest character to not fuck up, but apparently they fuck it up because Jimmy is never tall. He's never really in shape. He's a kid who's just getting started. They tried in the comics, or not in the comics, in the cartoons lately. And then I looked at it. I'm like, Jimmy was never square jawed. He's always goofy. He's doofy. He's a kid who never was considered good at what he did. He has he's supposed to be just this aloof kid, a teenager, a late teenager who's just starting out on his own. Not somebody who's sitting there in a tie and a freaking sweater vest. I'm sorry. No, stop fucking up the easiest character to get. Oh, even with the old Lois and Clark live action Superman, they at least got Jimmy right. That's brilliant, Jimmy. You know, it's just, even though he was the character, I should say the guy was in his mid-20s, he had the look of somebody who was that young. It's crazy. And I don't know what's going on with the chat box. I keep seeing it flicker, and I'm starting to wonder if it's not letting you guys post anything. It's kind of weird. All right, before I go on to gaming, let's randomly pick a whole video here. You know what? I screwed up and I went too high on that last one. So where was I? I don't know where I was. I was over there. So how about say something a little longer? Okay, every time I hear the Ziz movie or music kick in, I just want to beat someone's ass. I'm sorry, guys. However, one person I don't want to beat their ass is SS Demon is here with a $5 super sticker. And where the hell did my pen go? And I'm going to write this down. Thank you, Demon. Appreciate it. I know you're taking time off of work usually to come on. And I see everybody's actually saying hi, which is great. I'm going to write this down real quick. And of course, the demon screams as he sends his sticker, and hopefully he's here for a little bit longer. Usually he's on break. So, anyways, sorry, I was just looking at a few of these, and yes, we will be talking about. Chris is saying they did Jimmy, right? Very few times that they do Jimmy right. It's kind of crazy. It really blows my mind. So anyways, going on to the gaming. Now, I cut back on the gaming speech because a lot of these are very obscure that I keep hearing about. So I'm going to stick with the main points. Modern gaming is like modern movies. They keep trying to push their DEI, BS. SOBs just keep going and going and going. Just it hurts my brain sometimes, guys. Anyway, you guys can pretty much say goodbye to Assassin's Creed. It alienated the fans so much that nobody's buying. It could be the next breakout hit no one's playing. And even when it gets good reviews by actual game reviewers, people that actually play them, well, shocker, want to smell it? They nobody cares. Nobody cares. They lost all their fans because they decided to piss everybody off. And I'm just like, yeah, that's what freaking happened. I mean, I just want to sit there and, I wish I had a button for "Are you surprised?" or the Yoda going surprised. It's just, it staggers me. It really does. And I know for 10 years plus, people are just loving Assassin's Creed. Maybe because usually you're killing somebody who definitely deserved it. Now we have movies like Citizen Vigilante and Last Stand of Ellen Cole. I hope you guys went and watched that movie because that was funny. It was a good shoot 'em up. That's you need to take a drink, at least a little drink every time somebody gets wasted. And by the end, so will you be. Let's see. Down on here, I got Marathon. With that one, Bungie is getting very, very desperate. It's actually so bad that they are doing a collaboration with was Gearbox, which is actually one of their rivals. That's how desperate they are to stay relevant and stay afloat. I'm like, motherfucker, you know what we want. All you have to do is use what you have to sell it to us. We will pay you for it. That's how you become millionaires, you stupid fucknuts. But they won't do it. And it's crazy. More on that later. You got PlayStation does not want to even have any discussion on physical media, because physical media is what everybody wants. Okay, they want a completed game when they order it. They don't want to have to be hooked up to the internet or any of that bullshit. Okay, I would love to sit there and play Battlefield 2142, but that is online only. And when they shut the servers down, did somebody open up another server? Yeah, but it's completely low res. I mean, worse than it was. And now there's only a few people that still play it, and it's kind of sad. That being said, off some advice, I actually went and got some old games, and I realized that store was probably the only store in the mall that had a lot of people in it. And why? Because people refuse to buy incomplete games that you must be signed up to play. Just sell me the goddamn game. I will pay you for the game. If it's a good, now I'll give you a good example. Now I went and got Star Wars Battlefront 1 because I couldn't find Battlefront 2. I wanted to get that one as well. If they had a remastered version of Battlefronts 1 and 2, and they were going to sell them for, say, $70, $80 a piece, you're looking at the same game with maybe slightly bigger maps and better skins. Worth it. Absolutely worth it. But what they would end up doing is like the Master Chief Edition. If you haven't played that, consider yourself fortunate. It is god-awful. It's like the system doesn't know which resolution it should be in, the old one or the new one, so it flickers all the time. It'll drive you crazy. But this is all they got to do, and they're just, the game, I hate to say it. Actually, no, I love to say it because I said it for 30 years. The consoles had a shelf life. The consoles are dying. It's all games online now. But when if I would say to download a game, I want to be able to own the fucking game. I don't want somebody to come in and say, oh, you played too many hours, so we're going to brick your entire computer like they did with the Switch 2. Fuck all that noise. Ugh. Okay. I'm hoping these are going to work. I went in and now I don't know if these are in order. Guard, I believe you sent me 2. If these are not in order, I apologize, but they're both 30 seconds, so I'm just going to play one and I'm going to hold the other one for later before we move on to the final section before I go into the comments. Two for one sale that day, huh? All right. Oh, Alan, you missed. Oh, I pulled this off. So, yes, you are a sci-fi fantasy you're getting tonight. It's kind of a off the cuff thing, but you get that at midnight. Yes, you do. All right. Yeah, Erica, it's bad with those. It's bad. All right. I do have to bring this up because my feed has been saturated with these, and I haven't had a chance to watch maybe half of them. Maybe. And the thing is, the only thing I can watch is recaps. Every time I go to watch an episode, it's already been removed by YouTube because YouTubes are assholes. The new anime list and the new music stuff is coming out. And there is a lot of them. Now, I went through a couple of these, and I just want to give you my quick take on them. There's one of the Super Maid. And by the way, I don't know what the titles are, guys. I just literally went down the list as fast as I could. This apparently female MC. She's like, I don't know if she's isekai'd or she's whatever, reborn another time, however it's supposed to work. She wants to be a maid really bad. And so she becomes, even though she's supposed to be like the heroine of this video game world, she decides she just wants to be a maid. And she doesn't realize that the story is going to keep yanking her towards that area. It's going to yank her off her pedestal, and she's going to end up being the hero anyway. That one, I guess for the ladies, I tried watching the recap. I'm falling asleep watching the recap. That's how I was on. However, apparently it's doing really well. There's a lot of folks that are enjoying it. So there's that. There's one where the guy is the level 99999 villager. However, that's supposed to work, like the weakest class or something like that. And he's just like beating the shit out of everybody. Just another isekai, supposedly. I mean, it's just so many of them. They're running out of ideas. A lot of these sound rehashed, or they're grasping for straws. This one with the villager, it's getting medium reviews right now. Some people are liking it. Other people are like, cliche as fuck. I would more opt to believe that it's cliche as fuck, because so many of them are cliche as fuck. Yes, I'm doing that so much. You know what? I need to give myself one of these.
You are fined 1 homo suspicion point for violation of the Man Code Morality Statute.
I'll keep it a little better now. All right. What the hell? Man, sometimes I have trouble reading my own writing. Oh, yeah. Here's another. There's a lot of women, or I should say a lot of female MCs. A lot of stuff is targeting women. I don't know if that's going to be a common thing going down the road. However, they got the forced to marry a prince of an enemy nation, and apparently she doesn't know her abilities. Shocking again, no one, because that's the way these go. This one is not an isekai. This is just, she's brought up and like basically tortured by her older sister, who's like perfect at everything, not realizing that her younger sister is the one like feeding the angelic energy into everybody, or however that's supposed to work. Again, kind of a chick flick anime if you're into that sort of thing. Again, another one with a female MC with some sort of camping skills isekai with an RV. Now they're actually going into another world, and they're summoning a recreational vehicle. And I'm just sitting there like, what? Just what? And it regenerates all the food that you could want and all the spices you would want to cook with. It's literally a chick version of campfire cooking in another world. That's what it is, because immediately she hooks up with a party and everybody falls in love with the food, and they don't want to lose her because the food's so good and this, that, and the other thing. I wait till she gets a familiar that's a friggin' giant dog, and they're going to match completely up, or a familiar that's a little dragon. It's just, ha, 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 ha. It's like they found one that works, and everybody's trying to clone it. And you know what happens when you make a clone, or a clone of a clone? You get inevitable degradation. Boom. Let's see. There was the one that came out. Now, I actually read this manga like 10 years ago, at least the first manga book, where the guy is considered a useless prince, but he's actually an overpowered adventurer, and he just wants his brother to take over and stuff like that. I couldn't stand it. Oh my God. It was what I actually had to force myself to finish the issue of the manga because it was so bad. And honestly, the anime doesn't look good either. It looks terrible. It just looks like dog shit. Let's see. There's another one where apparently isekai'd in a bus accident or something, like a whole bunch of them are taken in, and the guy turns out to be like an awesome support class guy, and nobody realizes it until he helps everybody beat a quote unquote named monster. I'm like, what? Again, this is the sort of thing it's been done so much, they're running out of ideas. And it's just, wow, my penmanship is terrible. Oh, yeah, Dragon Cat. I'm not even kidding. There's one about a dragon cat, or a dragon that thinks they're a cat, that can transform into a dragon cat, that also cares about cats. And actually, Erica, that might be up your alley, wouldn't it? With your kitties. And no, you only got one cat, right? But yeah, that I saw that and I'm just like, my brain's melting. It's literally melting away. Now, out of all these, there was one manga I'm actually upset I stopped reading because it was so wholesome of a story, I couldn't help but enjoy it. And with all the overpowered MCs and all this other bullshit that they have cliche, it's good to just read a good, wholesome manga. And they finally adapted it to an anime where the guy is a retired knight and he ends up being lord of just these grasslands, doesn't realize that there's some sort of Oni or something like that sitting there, and they're hidden via magic. And they realize that, or in their culture, the more manly, quote unquote, a man is, it doesn't matter what species they are something that all the women will flock to. In other words, if you're a good provider, that's all they give a shit about. Okay, they're living in yurts and they're living off the land, and so being a good provider would be what everyone looks for. That being said, the guy has done nothing but warfare for 30 years. He started fighting when he was like 6 or 7 years old, joined the army because the war kicked out. Turned out he was a pretty badass motherfucker, and he's a pretty big guy too. So yeah, that one is, I hate to say it, guys, but if you're just looking for just something good to watch, that's one of them. Okay, again, beyond wholesome. So it is what it is. All right. On that note, I finally, after an hour, got through all my notes. And before we jump into the comment section, let's polish out with this video. Double kill. No, what was it? Retribution. Something like that. Those things looked like BTRs. So honestly, I was looking at it side-eyed because I'm looking through here. And yeah, Guard's bringing up a good point how certain countries, the UK, are trying to force YouTube to bend to their will. So don't be surprised when enough money goes their way, YouTube starts changing everything. And Guard even saying, but have to downplay, suppress, and in some cases straight up remove from the search bar independent journalisms and YouTubers who cover politics. You are 100% correct on that. I actually know somebody, not personally, but I know somebody who does a lot of those, and he just got every channel attached to YouTube nuked as well. They love to say that. Well, it's in the terms of service. He goes, point out where. We don't have to tell you it's in there. You have to find it and prove us wrong. So in other words, you're guilty until proven innocent. Yeah, no. But, it is what it is. We're in some really weird times nowadays. Let's see. Guard says, and some BS excuse for God knows what now. At this point, it's just hot air being blown out. Yep. Got Chris here saying how Crypto is a dog with style. Honestly, I never got into the whole super pets things because you actually had the Bat Ape. I'm not even kidding. Batman's friend Ape, who is somehow genetically altered. And even though he can't speak, he's like protecting all the animals in the jungle and stuff like that. And I'm just sitting there like, what? Wonder Woman has her own, I don't even know what it is anymore. Aquaman has some sort of fish. It just got beyond stupid. I just like, what? Let's see, there's Demon with hi, everybody, bye. Miss you guys. Guard saying, I think the only thing that ever gotten correct in the last few Superman movies was Mr. Terrific. I think it has to be the most accurate live action adaptation of the character. I want to get behind that. I really do. I do. I really, really do. However, there's one scene that makes me realize that these guys were just, they can't get away from their DEI bullshit. Okay. It's when Superman and Mr. Terrific are talking about like firearms and stuff like that. And they're playing chess. Did that scene happen in the comic? Yes. Did it happen with Superman and Mr. Terrific? Absolutely not. It happened with Superman and the Flash. Literally, Flash didn't know how to play chess. He watched the screen at super speed for like maybe 5 or 6 seconds, our time. And he learned how to play chess. And he played like 12 or 13 different games against Superman, making his point that Superman was going off the rail, going too far. Okay. As far as any other section that Mr. Terrific is in, I've got no problems with the character. Not one bit. That one section, that's the only one I have a problem with. Although I will say this, a few times when they actually draw Mr. Terrific, they make him like huge, bulky, fit. No, he's a brainiac. He's not fit, or he's skinny. Is the original drawings, he was very thin, maybe with a little bit of a pot belly, which is why he kept wearing that jacket. He wasn't in shape. He was just a extremely smart guy. The only reason he didn't end up being extremely fat is because he thought at such a high rate of speed, it was actually burning out his system if he didn't burn calories. That's just the way it was. So it is what it is. I mean, I let a lot of it pass because, hey, writers got to do what they got to do. Directors got to do what they do. Animators got to do what they do. I just want them to stay as close to the original as possible. And yeah, another thing they screwed up. Guards got it right. They fucked up Guy Gardner so bad. They literally just turned him into an asshole just to be an asshole. Guy Gardner was not an asshole just to be an asshole. He was an asshole because of certain things. Okay, he was an asshole because Batman sucker punched him once. That would probably piss anybody off. So he got this whole thing against Batman. Okay. When they turned Guy Gardner, gay, that was a total rip on his character because he ended up, and one of the main things that defined his character was his relationship with the superhero Ice. She was like Russian or something like that, or Ukrainian or whatever, maybe Swedish or whatever. She wasn't very tall. She was just this little petite thing with some really big tits. But regardless of that, that defined a lot of his character. She kind of liked that he was a little brazen. She liked the fact that he would do anything for her. And one of the main things, I don't know if you guys ever seen this, when she was messed up really bad, she was like completely catatonic. He lost his shit. Like he was ready to destroy the entire planet. Like straight up Hal Jordan this shit with the woman in the fridge. Like he was ready to just detonate half a continent right there. He was just losing his mind. And after that, he really became a jerk because he was afraid to get attached to anybody. He did that strictly out of fear because he didn't want to be attached to anybody anymore. He didn't want to feel that pain anymore. And most of us can empathize with that. However, just making him a jerk, just to make him a jerk, just to make your hero look better. Man, I really should have put one in here that a picture of somebody just saying no, because it's just no. Just stick with the original characters, people. Okay, sorry, I'm down the rabbit hole, guys. I'm way down this rabbit hole. I'm climbing up out of it. I'm trying to get out. Anyways, let's see. Guard up here saying, "Oh yeah, I forgot to send you Half-Life 2 clip like 2 weeks ago." You can send it now. Chris saying, "Is this future footage of Antifa fighting the USMC?" Which foot? Oh, yeah, from the. I don't think the Marines would be that nice, honestly. I've worked with the Marines, and unfortunately, the ego is what gets them in trouble a lot. It's the same thing with the Rangers. Whenever we go toe to toe with them in the field, we ball them up, and it's not even close to funny. We ball up the scouts all the time too. It wasn't even close. And a lot of them be like, "Oh no, you can't say anything bad about it." I'm like, if they friggin' stomp my ass, you know what I do? I learn from it, which is what training is for, and I move on. Okay, it's pure and simple. It's just when people think the name protects them. No, it don't. It don't stop a bullet. It don't stop a bomb. And it sure as hell don't stop artillery when it's dropping on your fucking head. You know, they call it warheads on foreheads for a reason. But yeah, honestly, if the Marines went in there and started screwing them up, and we were talking about Claymores and how messy they were earlier, that's child's play to what those guys will do. Oh, dear Lord. I've been in areas where a couple of the Marine units had just pulled out of, and we had to go and clean up the mess, and yuck. It's one of those situations you can smell it before you even see it. Anyways, guards here saying the guy who made the video goes by the name of the Perry God. And by the way, that's supposed to be capitalized. Literally spends months, if not years, making his own independent animations. And by the way, I will say he did a very good job. I enjoyed watching that. If it wasn't for the fact I had other stuff to do on the side, I would have watched the whole thing. I might just watch it again. He continues with, like, seriously, he has taken 2 years to release one 15-minute animation. And to be honest, hats off to him. Yes. Cheers to any independent creator who takes the time to do it right. I raise a glass to him. Which, unfortunately, every once in a while is why I end up delaying a day, because I fuck something up real bad. But yeah, I'm not spending 2 years on one 15-minute animation. One that's actually surprisingly good was the Starscream versus Megatron. And all it was Megatron trying to get used to his new aircraft form. So what does he do? He spars against Starscream, who was the best pilot out there. Literally, in minor spoiler alert, in the one that I was doing with the Transformers, whenever the MC is up in the air because he's been morphed into a Transformer himself, whenever he sees Starscream in the air with him, he actually says, "Oh shit," because he knows he's in trouble. He understands Starscream is not only a great fighter, he's a tactical genius. He's a freaking scientist above everything else. The only thing that slows him down is his ego. And by the way, if I do end up finishing up with that series, you're going to find out why that ego is so bad and why it kicks the way it does. A lot of people don't realize that Starscream actually did go toe-to-toe with Megatron and almost win. And this is when they first met. All right. Demon's up here saying, oh, yeah, I didn't send the videos like I said I would. I got real busy. No worries. I'm going to do it first thing Friday morning when I get off. You know what? Oh, I didn't put the groan in here. I was gonna have a whole thing with a chick on here, but I forgot to put it on. I also ran out of buttons. I need a bigger stream deck. But
Swing.
I'll leave it on that one. When he gets off work, so you'll have video clips the next Wednesday. Cool. Erica down here. You know, Hollywood has truly failed when my dad, who acts like he's allergic to China, says China and Wally are making better movies than Hollywood. I can't say he's wrong. It is what it is on that. But yeah, right now, a lot of other places are making much better movies than Hollyweird is making, because Hollyweird is just full of holy shit. Ah, damn it. Hold on. I got shit falling down over here. I need to mix everything up a little bit because the apple juice is getting to my head. Probably the reason I'm cursing up a storm lately. Anyways. That tastes weird. Oh, it was black cherry. I thought it was cola. Ha ha. All right. But yeah, Erica, you're right. A lot of people are making better stuff than Hollywood is 100% correct. Alan's up here asking, are we getting a story tonight? Yes, you are. I mentioned it before, but yes, you are. I kind of pulled the stories off as soon as I switched from doing the reviews. I usually pull it right off of here. Boy, that sounded so wrong. Anyways, it's kind of a fantasy sci-fi thing going on, and I hope you guys enjoy it. It's not super long. It's an off the cuff, more or less. And let me know in the comment section, guys, if I fuck things up, because I can't fix it unless you beautiful people fix me. Okay. See, Erica talking about how they brick systems. Yes, they do. They absolutely do. Lean it up here. If you don't log into their account, then they will shut it down. Yes, this is what I'm talking about. You guys have all seen that short video. If I knew where to get it, I would look it up. I would download it again just so I could play it for you guys. Whereas the guys in the arcade saying, oh, I'm not going to pay a quarter per game anymore. I'm going to go home and play on my console. It's a good thing I can play on my console, and they're not going to charge me every single time I want to play a game. And yeah. You know, so bad it makes everybody want to.
All hands to battle stations.
Skip is saying, Sin, forgive me, but what is the holdup with your new office? The holdup is this. I'm glad you brought this. Oh, shit. Sorry. I actually got so mad. I kind of almost damaged equipment here. Here's the holdup. I'm glad you brought this up. And you know what? I should have a button that says rant incoming, because here is how it is. I tried to order from any place around here that has a desk. Okay. I kept looking. I need a specific type, or I would prefer a specific type of desk. Can I get along with just a regular one? Yes. However, the one I'm sitting behind right now is too fucking small. I need additional pieces. I found the ones that had the additional pieces. They all come from Staples because no one else has computer desks. They all have writing desks that are way too goddamn high. So yeah, fun. Anyway, I find a good desk. I go to order it. They say, oh, we can't ship it to your house. You need to reorder it. So I go check, make sure they didn't charge me the money for it. They didn't. So I reorder the desk. shocker, here's what happens. I end up getting a notice that says, oh, this desk you wanted, it's out of stock. It's the only one of its design, but it's out of stock. It doesn't say it's out of stock, but it's out of stock. They refunded my money, and I kept saying, is there any way I can find this thing? They said, no, sorry, it's out of stock. And I keep going to everywhere I fucking try to find a goddamn computer desk that's worth anything, and nothing. For over 2 weeks, I've been going back and forth with these assholes, and it's driving me crazy. It just, I'm sorry for yelling, guys. I really am, but this is just pissing me off. So here's what's going to happen. Tomorrow, just tomorrow, what's going to happen? I'm going to get in my car. I'm going to drive my happy ass down to the Staples down there in Willimantic, and I'm going to say, give me that piece of shit right there. I'm going to load it up in the car. I'm going to bring it back here. I'm going to assemble the motherfucker, and I'm going to start moving all this shit downstairs because I'm tired of this crap. And again, I'm sorry for the rant, guys, but they have pissed me off so fucking much. Look, I went everywhere. I went down to Best Buy. I went to Ashley's Furniture. I went to the office warehouse place. I went to a place that's going out of business, and they don't sell fucking computer desks. Yeah, I know. You're probably all thinking, yeah, take a drink and calm down. Don't worry, I will here in a second. Just had to remember where I was at. Sorry about that, guys. Just I should have been down there 2 weeks ago, because right now I'm sweating my ass off up here. Not to mention, I need to organize my stuff, and I can't do that in here. There's not enough room. All right. Oh, I was about to move on, but I can't move on because...
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the fuck is that?
We got a $10 super chat from Skip coming back, and he says, new desk, Costco has a good selection. They deliver, and the desks are adjustable height. Okay, now as far as the adjustable height ones, I can't use those. Those are laptop specific. I have a desktop and a TV mounted to the wall. That's what I got. I mean, trust me, if it was just adjustable desks, I could find one, no problem. I mean, I appreciate you talking about Costco. You know, I'll actually swing by Costco. I'll grab my dad's Costco card, and I'll go down there, and we'll check it out before I go to Staples, because honestly, it just Goose Fraba. I'm trying to relax, and it's just getting on my nerves so much. I actually totally forgot about Costco. That's actually where I got the chair that I'm sitting in. Got that at Costco. I don't know if that's where, no, that's not where I got the desk from. That's where I got the TV from that I'm on, that I'm using as a screen along with a mount. Fair warning, guys. Fair warning. When I do move downstairs, don't be surprised if there's 1 or 2 days you don't get anything. I will put it at the end of the video that I just moved. However, it's going to take me at least a day to get everything downstairs. It's going to take a couple hours at minimum to get this TV remounted down there. Or I should say, taken off the wall with the mount that goes on the back is not an easy process to take it off and put it back on. You have to be extremely careful that you don't end up splitting your 2x4s, because then you have to take part of the wall apart to actually reset it, because the lag bolts that are in there keep the whole thing from falling off. And those have to be done correctly. If they're not done correctly, you are in trouble. You're in some really deep trouble. So anyways, yeah. Thank you again, Skip. And let me turn that off. Let me go back up here. Oh, God damn. All right. Lena says, if you don't log into their account, they will shut it down. Yep. See, he also says, I haven't seen any isekai this season. I just want a good fantasy. Again, a good fantasy is, and I really wish I knew the title of it, is the one where the knight gets sent off. And you'll know it's the right one, because in the thumbnail, they're going to put the love interest, and she's got this horn sticking out of her head. And that's not a thing to say she's horny. She's not actually horny. She is looking to get married, but that's not because she's trying to get laid. That's just part of her culture. But yeah, that's just a good one to, as long as they don't fuck it up, that's going to be a entertaining one. And it may be an isekai, but Skeleton Knight season 2 is starting to look funny. It's stupid, it's goofy, and they know it. And that's what I like about it. They know what they are and they know what they're trying to do. All right. It's also a decent fantasy too. And every once in a while he does something that is just, you want to see like, dude, what the hell are you doing? It's just funny. So asking, there's Brian talking about his Sportster 1200. Sounds a lot like what my dad used to have. The previous owner screwed up a lot. I have spent the last 2 years fixing it up. Oh, how the hell do you bet it? He must have like run it off the road. How do you fuck up a Sportster? That's weird. Let's see. Chris saying, speaking of cliche, I'm swearing off natural redheads again. Well, at least until the next one comes along. You know what they say, red on the head, fire in the bed. And okay, sorry, I had to check something real quick. Let's see. Lena's up here, says, sounds like all those isekai are painful. They're grasping. The thing is, sometimes, every once in a while, you'll get something that is so much better than it should be. Case in point, Mob in a Dating Sim. If you guys have seen that, it is so much better than it has any right to be. It is just enjoy. Don't read too much into it. It's just enjoyable. The guy, he knows he's in a video game world and he just enjoys the shit out of it. He's already played it. He's already beat it multiple times. He knows exactly what he's doing. He didn't want to play the game in the beginning, which makes it even better because certain people you're supposed to love, he hates, and people that you're supposed to hate, he loves. And it's just kind of messed up. And I granted, it's, there's a harem thing going to be going on, whatever, as long as you can deal with that bullshit. But yeah, that one's going to be good. He also says, I like watching new season of Tanya the Evil.
Oh, wait, you serious? Let me laugh even harder.
I shouldn't say that's funny to laugh at, but it's Tanya the Evil. You're just like, this person is so yikes.
Great Scott.
Because seriously, it's causing a whole bunch of
emotional damage
every time you watch it, because for those of you that are uninitiated, it was a office worker who was just strict with the rules. He was a manager, and because he was strict with the rules, he gave absolutely no buys to anybody. Even if somebody had a wife and family they had to support, he still canned their ass, which ended up making one of these people he shit can chuck him in front of a moving subway, and he gets revived by God, which they don't even say it's actually God. They say recommend that he's God or whatever. But he is reincarnated as a she, and because of that, there's a whole bunch of those now where he becomes a she. It's never she becomes a he, which is, I don't know what the fuck. Anyways, he becomes a she, and she has got a natural talent for the technology that basically gives them magic. And yeah, it's one of those enjoyable ones to watch. But you're still sitting there going, at least once you're going to sit there and go, jeez, wow, oh man, that's twisted. And that's what makes it fun to watch. All right. Let's see, Erica saying, sorry to Chris, we have problems matching and staying. It's lots of energy mismatching. Okay. Alan said, guilty till you're innocent seems to be the standard these days, especially with the flock cameras. Guys, wow. Just wow. Because if they send you a summons, a bill, a ticket, or whatever, you have to prove that you weren't there. But they're not going to take your admission of innocence or anything like that. There is no innocent until proven guilty. You're guilty until you prove yourself innocent. When the hell did we become so, I just got to say it. When did it become so Bolshevik?
There, I said it. Bolsheviks. Bolsheviks. Now drink.
I'm not even kidding. Now you really do have to drink. Because if any of those assholes send me a ticket and said, oh, we caught you speeding or something like that, you know what I'm going to do? Something along the lines of this.
How about new?
Yeah, crazy German. And yeah, it's some guy in like Switzerland or no, is it Switzerland? Yeah, Switzerland or Germany or something like that. Some super rich billionaire. And I'm just like, motherfucker, you better stay there. Somebody's going to end your ass for all this constant harassment. Oy. And of course, here comes Draven saying, good evening, sinners. Better late than never. And Douglas up here saying, I was cleared from thyroid and prostate cancer. My blood tests, I got my A1C down from 6.5 to 6.2. Hey! Cheers, my friend. It says they have to MRI his legs soon, though. I guarantee I know what they're looking for. I just hope they don't find any. Because they can get that out. It's not comfortable, though, because the way they have to strap you into a chair, I know people that have gone through it, and they do not enjoy it one bit. Again, if they find what I think they're looking for, they're just going to schedule you. You're going to be under the sauce for a while. You might want to tell them before they actually take your gown to actually dose you, so you're at least out of it. They'll dose you anyway. Don't worry. But then you're going to be basically stuck for a couple of days while your body does its healing, which honestly, why don't they just give us a frequency resonator of 6.82 megahertz, or sorry, is it megahertz? Yeah, no, 6.82 hertz, and fix us up real quick. Cut recovery time down in half. At least. See, as you guys know, I'm really big into the frequency stuff because I know it works. How do I know it works? Because I know people who've done it. And one guy who should be freaking dead is still around and kicking because he used this shit to actually cook off a cancer. Well, I shouldn't say he cooked off the cancer. He used it to heal himself so fast that his body could do what it had to do. The fact that he had multiple rounds of cancer was different. Anyway, Lena says, I thought that they did a very good job with Ghost in the Shell anime. It was probably the most manga accurate version. Okay. I got absolutely zero issues with the Ghost in the Shell anime. Okay. A lot of us, when we went into Blockbuster to rent it for the first time, why did we rent it? Because there was anime boobs on the title or on the cover. You can't say that's not what drew your attention, guys, because back in the day, before you could just literally pull up your phone and see, jiggly bits all the time.
Seeing what the? Oh.
Sorry, guys. I hit something. That was the effects. Oh.
I forgot I had the sound effect.
Good evening. Oh.
Good evening, sinners.
Yeah, that's one of the few ones I was able to hold on to when it deleted everything. Anyways, but yeah, it was one of those that subverted expectations. That's what I was going to get at, is the fact that when you went there, you're thinking, oh, anime tits, we're going to see anime boobies bounce. And then it turned out, yeah, you saw them, but you also, the very first thing when she dropped off, you realized that the Now they called it thermoptics. It has a completely different name, and I'm trying to remember what it is, but it's escaping me at this point. But it does renders you invisible to the human eye. And but it's baked into the android skin she has, which is why she had to get naked. Let's see. So I mean, at least you got to see some anime nudity, but it was still a good movie. That's my point. It was still a very good movie for what it was. It explained everything. It explained the psychological effects. The only thing it didn't actually explain, I had to find out later, is that the MC, the main character, female, actually was a guy originally before he died and had his ghost, his consciousness, put into this android body, but he chose to have a female body because he wanted a psychological edge over the enemy, because it's normal for us guys to instinctively not want to shoot a female. And that moment of hesitation might be all you need to save your own ass. All right. Lena says, it most likely feels like a remake, probably because the movie, and I watched Standalone Complex both seasons. Why is that honestly, Standalone Complex? I don't think I've ever seen that. Let's see, Erica up here saying Hollywood isn't filled with holy shit. It's filled with something unholy, and not in a good way. Yeah. Honestly, those folks need to be just taken out behind the woodshed and ended like I ended that woodchuck earlier. Yeah, one who was trying to eat my garden. Actually, we found out that was the little bastard. They ate all my dad's strawberries. So it literally cut down strawberry season by 2 weeks. And by the way, if you don't know, strawberry season is only about 6 weeks in total. So yeah, that little fucker got a 22 hollow point right through the neck. I hate the fact that they jump and twitch when they die. I'm like, just fucking fall over, will ya? That's why I don't like shooting raccoons. They always kick and jump. You don't know if you actually got them, so you just keep pumping lead into them, reclassify them as a pencil. All right. Where was I? Oh, yeah. All right. Douglas says, is there any other installment of something familiar coming in the future? Yes, there is. I sense a major confrontation in the off. Yes. I just haven't had time to go on it, guys. Unfortunately, the days that you don't get anything are days that are just filled with people need me to do something, and I get pulled in another direction, and it just means I don't have time to do it. And when I do, I need to be able to focus, and I'm not going to give you guys a load of shit. Okay. Can I do something off the cuff? Yes. Something familiar is something I cannot ever do off the cuff. Like I mentioned before, it takes at least 3 days to write a single chapter of that, because I have to write the whole thing out. I want to actually finish. I know exactly what I want to do with that series, but it just takes a long time to get it down. And I think you guys will be pleasantly surprised with what's going to happen there. However, it's going to take some time. And I appreciate you guys having the patience with me on that. And I mean, there's nothing else except, again, raise a glass and say thank you, everybody. Thank you for being tolerant of me not being able to post every single day and get something out. Okay. Down here, we got Douglas saying, apparently my eating garlic, green onions, and taking turmeric is paying benefits. Good. I actually have some turmeric right over here within arm's length. I have to take it because of my knees. And the IED blast kind of fucked up something over here. So I have to have some sort of anti-inflammatory to make sure it doesn't swell up, or else I get really bad headaches. But yeah, and I like garlic too. There are so many positives when it comes to garlic. It's crazy. Now, as far as green onions, I got plenty of those. Unfortunately, the bulbs are only about yay big, which is bullshit. I need those fuckers about this big. If that's the way these plantain bulbs are going to go and they're not going to actually grow into the ground, I'm never going to have them ever again. This is bullshit. I need actual big freaking... Boy, it makes me sound so wrong when I say I need big bulbs, okay? But anyways, the tops are nice and green. Can chop them off, cut them off, chop them up as chives, put them right into the eggs and everything else. All right. Erica says, SD, Home Depot, Lowe's, IKEA, Flea Market, Goodwill, and Facebook Marketplace, Amazon. Okay. I'm going to go down these. First off, I have never used Etsy, so I have absolutely no comment on that. I went to Home Depot and I went to Lowe's. You know what they had? The same piece of shit I'm sitting in front of right now. Some particle board, sneeze and it falls over piece of garbage. Okay. I need another drawer on the other side that's set up for files. And I need one like this one that's at an actual cabinet. So now I have to have additional pieces of furniture in there, which I didn't want to do in the first place. All right. As far as IKEA goes, everything is, again, I went there, the same thing. It's the same damn, it's like everybody just wants to sell this one design and think it's a good idea. I'm like, stop it. No. As far as flea markets go, I have not gone through those. So you might have me on that one. As far as Goodwill goes, absolutely not. I do not shop at Goodwill because I do not like the way first off, the way they treat their employees, two, the way they treat most of their customers, because I've gone in there a few times and the price is just nuts. It's like twice as high as something brand new of the same exact thing. It used to be Goodwill was the cheap place to buy things, and it's not. Now, as far as Facebook Marketplace goes, I haven't been on Facebook in probably 10 years. So I can't say too much on that. I've heard some horror stories about Facebook Marketplace, so we'll see, maybe. Now, Amazon, here's a fun one for you. I originally had an Amazon account where I could order stuff from, like many people do. When I moved, my phone took a shit, okay? And I was not ordering from Amazon. My laptop also took a shit, so I had to buy a new one, okay? Since I did not have the same number, since I did not have the same laptop, it did not care that I could answer the questions, that I knew the passcodes, that I had access to the emails or anything like that. Amazon did not give a fuck. As far as they were concerned, I was not who I said I was, and I needed to fuck right off. I didn't even have the same mailing address anymore. And Mac, iTunes, iPods, all those other folks, they did the exact same thing. So I can't use Amazon. It's just, it is what it is. Okay, if they don't want to work with me, then I don't have to work with them, and fuck them. Okay, Erica's also asking the price point. I was about to pay $800 for a desk. So yeah, I got something that's solid. It was a nice, the one I was ordering was a solid wood desk, or at least the parts were solid wood. I could assemble it myself, but it wasn't this particle board stuff that comes apart. So anyways, let's see. Lena says, sorry, I'm going to break away from that one. I don't want to talk about the desk because it's making me reach for this glass. Anyway, Leonid's over here saying, I probably learned a few things about cats when I watched 2 episodes of Chain Smoker Cat. Wait a minute, that's an actual show? I thought that was a joke. That's a show? That's an actual show? Oh, Oh, that is hilarious. I thought that was a meme or something when I saw it on my feed. I didn't know that was an actual show. Oh, shit. Oh, my God. Wow. Wow. Just wow. Okay. I'm sorry. Maybe I've had too much to drink, but wow, that is just funny. All right. Coming back to myself. Skip down here saying to Erica, I'm in the same situation, but Costco seems to have the best selection. I used to buy Home Depot desks, but the last one I bought is falling apart due to my sweat and dissolved it. Yeah, actually under my hand. Pretty much everything on the crease here where my keyboard is peeling off. And not to mention where my mouse moves, it's all fucked up. But yeah, Skip is absolutely right on that. These particle board pieces of garbage, they don't last. And I'm actually afraid to put any type of pressure on this thing. I'm worried I'm going to break it. I don't dare sit on this thing. I know I'll break it with my 230-pound ass, along with the rest of me. Okay, here's Chris. He says, I asked the court to bring in the traffic camera that sent me a ticket under the grounds that I have the right to face my accuser. The judge threw the ticket out, so yeah, but honestly, I think I annoyed him. Dude. Dude. That's hilarious. Now that I think about it, that is fucking. I have the right to face my. Wow. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh man. Oh, I gotta send that in to Terrence Pop, man. He's gonna freaking laugh until he pukes on that one. That is. Oh man, I need a Thug Life or something for that. Oh, that's just great. Oh, do I have anything? Yeah. Here we go.
We're not worthy! We're not worthy!
Because that's just funny, man. That is fun. Oh, shit. Okay. I'm calming down. Okay. I gotta breathe. Okay. It's also friggin' hot as shit in here. Okay. Lena says, anime nudity was only in the old movies, and maybe people saw her nudity, but the technology quickly updated so they don't need to strip her anymore. Well, the reason they updated the technology was to allow for the live action movie where whatever that lady's name is who plays Black Widow didn't actually have to be bare ass on camera. Now, they could have used camera angles to hint at it and just give us like a side shot really quick. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time she flashed her tits. But I mean, that's all they had to do was show that. And then again, camera angles to not show the extra parts you're not supposed to. It's just, this is one of those things where the actors, they're paid to do a job and they say, I'm too good of an actor and I'm paid too much. You're going to do what I say. And then they fuck something up. That right there, when I saw that she was not actually going to strip down for that role, like they did in the anime, because they're basically doing a shot-for-shot remake, I just said, no, it's not worth it. And a lot of people, the same thing. There's a lot of reviews online that are saying the same thing. Because she would not go with the actual script, the original script, she can fuck off. All right, Lena says a standalone complex anime was basically a different timeline with a little bit more comedy, and I'm going to mispronounce this, Takikoma AI spider bots. Now, I think I know what you're talking about. I've seen bits of that where they're like of different colors, and it seems like they have this big like cylinder on the ass end. I've never seen it. Honestly, there was a time in my life where I didn't read manga, didn't watch anime at all, for like 10 years. And honestly, the only thing that got me back into even manga was the fact that I was deployed, and you'll read anything. I read books that made absolutely no fucking sense. I actually sat and read Chicken Soup for the Soul, and I'm just like, what am I reading? This is so bad. Oh my God, it got worse. It can't be worse farther on. Oh my God, it's even worse. Oh God, help me. And I'm just like, and then they have chicken soup for everything. I'm like, my brain hurts. Ugh. Anyway, Lena says, I think I have been watching lots of, I don't know what Gits anime is. I'm trying to think, but nothing's working. I've been having too much of this here where I can't friggin' focus. You know, like the man says, I need, like, I would need coffee to think. Sorry, a little throwback to Perfect Strangers. And if you guys have never seen that show from the mid 80s, it is one of the best of the sitcom comedies that they had going. And all it is a foreigner who meets up with his cousin who's American, who's just trying to get by. And the two actors are so good at what they do, you cannot help but enjoy. Even though everything what they do is goofy as all shit, the actors are just they land their part so perfectly. You can't help but like it. Anyway, Chris says, I've had a headache every single day since 2006. They get bad at times. I go blind and pass out if I'm lucky. Dude, you need an MRI like now. Because if that's what I think it is, they need to find it and preferably give you something to make it either go away, shrink it, or take it out. Depending on where it is. Now, I will say, if you're having really bad problems up the back of the neck and into the head, especially if it radiates down into the shoulder, that right there might be simply the way you're sitting. I, no joke, had the same conversation with my niece like a day ago. I had to take my dad down to watch my niece in a horse show. And we were talking, now she actually walks, her shoulders are hunched over like that. I'm not even joking. This is the way she sits. And I'm like, you are going to have some back problems. And I asked her if she wakes up in pain. She goes, yeah, how'd you know? I said, because the way you stand, you're pulling your shoulder blade out of place. And when that happens, it radiates literally right up the base of your spine, right into the back of your head. However, Chris, I don't think that's what you got right now. I'm just saying that that's one of the things that doesn't help. But seriously, if you're having headaches every single day for 20 fucking years, either you know what it is and don't want to deal with it, or you don't know what it is and it needs to be found. And if it's what I think it is, they need to find that shit now. And again, if it's what I think it is, it should be an easy, here, put this mask on after we give you a shot, talk or count backwards from 100, and you won't even make 95, and you'll wake up and you won't have pain in your head anymore. Let's see. Lena says, a new anime actually tried to animate the lesbian major scene from the manga in swimsuits. I'm not sure what the heck. I only know one anime in swimsuits, and that was it was a game. Like, they were actually trying to push each other off platforms in the on above water inside the pool or whatever. And that one not only passed the Bechdel test with flying colors, but it was also known as one of the best animes for, believe it or not, storyline wise for women and visually for guys, because they're literally using their butts and their boobs to push each other off. And it is what it is. Now, I'm not sure that's the one you're talking about. I didn't know there was a lesbian thing in there. I never saw the end. I had no interest in ever watching it. So Yeah, and that's about the time I stopped watching, period. Let's see. Erica says green onion doesn't form big bulbs. Giant Italy gets big. Well, if that's the case, then I've got a lot of chives that need to be chopped right now. If that's the case, Erica, and yeah, I'm still trying to learn how to grow onions from seed, and it's not working out very well. Anyways, yeah, I appreciate the heads up on that one. I will keep that in mind. I'm going to probably go out there tomorrow and chop some more after we get back from Costco, of course, because you guys recommended Costco. I got to go to Costco anyway. So 2 birds, 1 stone. Why the fuck not? And Chris says the VA says they are cluster headaches. Oh, fun. I love when they use crap like that. It's a nice way of saying, I don't know. Ugh. On that one, honestly, I'm pretty sure it's either from over concussion or one of your inner ears is screwed up. Now, again, I would still recommend the MRI just because on either one of those, you might be causing some sort of inflammation. And a lot of times what's causing the inflammation can be fixed. However, depends if you want to trust a VA doctor with your brain. So, I mean, I had it when I was in, I had a doctor fix my knee, some colonel. He was friggin' awesome. He did a great job. I got no problems with that. I got, my shoulder fixed by some civilians and stuff like that. However, I don't know if I trust VA digging around my gray matter. Probably come out saying, what? I will love him and I will pet him and I will call him George. So, yeah. Let's see. Chris says, they don't happen often anymore, but I still have a constant headache. Yeah, me too. I got a problem with this side. I think the IED blast fucked something up. So I simply sleep on the other side. At least for me, that helps. So, yeah. I don't know what to tell you guys except MRI. MRIs can find a lot of stuff. The thing is, they are going to be very hesitant to give you MRIs. Why? I don't fucking know. Every time I walked into a place that does MRIs, they're literally bored off their fucking minds. It's crazy. Okay. Lena's up here says, Chain Smoker Cat is a real show. And the more I think about it, I'm trying not to crack up and just keep laughing in my maniacal style, which is actually normal for me, and people think it's creepy. Kind of like when Batman laughs. But I will say that is just funny that Chain Smoker Cat is a real show. From what I've seen, it's a anthropomorphic type thing, like a cat girl type of thing. Oh, jeez. Let's see. Douglas up here says, have you taken I'm not even going to try pronouncing that one. And Chris saying, I get injections every couple months, which helps. Okay. Probably cortisone or something. Let's see. Lena says, the opening into Chainsmoker Cat is full of movie references. I'm going to have to check this out. If I get a free moment, but it is what it is. And Erica with some interesting. Now, remember, guys, I'm just reading these. I'm not recommending anything. As Erica says, try mushrooms. Like Galaxy treats anemia. Make sure it's legal and ask about drug interactions. Mushrooms are no joke and will wreck stuff if not. Or wreck stuff up if not careful. You are absolutely right. I've actually known somebody, they did have some really, you know what? It's such a long name. I don't even remember what the hell it's called. He had some sort of issue. It was systemic. It went up his spine into his brain. And the only thing that did actually help him was he would show up. They would give him this little baggie about that. I know because I walked in with him once because I was his ride. A little baggie about that big, had about maybe 12 mushrooms in it. They sat him in a bed. They actually had to give him a catheter before he took any of this shit, which, by the way, he said did not feel good. And I'm going to take his word for that. And then they had him ingest the mushrooms. And as it's taking effect, he had to have partial restraints on, so he couldn't get up and move. They were worried he was going to hallucinate and walk out of there. However, he was good for like 6 months. When I went to go get him, he was tripping just a little bit, just enough to go like, dude, how come there's two of you? I'm like, because I'm so great. So anyways, but yeah, if they're going to do that, just be aware that if they do recommend mushrooms, they will bring them in from a certain area and they will monitor you the entire time. Also, fair warning, loose shorts. I don't know what it is. It gives everybody a boner, even the women. Anyways, going down here with Chris, he says, I have to have people in the room when I'm under anesthesia, handing out NDAS. I can't imagine being followed around while tripping my balls off. Yeah, again, that's the reason for partial restraints. He mentions it would be a good story though. You're right. It would be, dude. Okay. I'm gonna write this down because that would be a good one-off. I'm gonna right now. Alien tripping balls. Oh yeah. That sounds like a fun one. Now when I come back off of my stupor, I'm gonna let my brain do what it do, and I guarantee it's gonna come up with something good on that one. Guard says, yeah, we have Chainsmoker Cat, and apparently later this year with Netflix, we got a kid. You not lollies smoke crack in the hood. What? And you know the version of that word because YouTube's censoring. Yeah, another reason to get rid of Netflix. I'll tell you that after Mignonez hit the translation cuties. Once that hit, I was already on the fence with Netflix. As soon as they came out with that, I friggin' deleted everything. And here was the fun thing. I didn't know this until a whole bunch of people made videos about this. When that movie, Mignonez, and yes, I'm going to keep calling it by its original French name. When Mignonez came out, a lot of people noted that if they went into the, how do I put this? Same side of the fence swinging type movies, the only thing you would find is XYXY. You would never find XXXX. And yes, I do have to type talking code here. And I'm like, wait a minute, what about that blue is the warmest color? That made a huge splash. They're like, you can't find it anywhere. Netflix deleted the whole thing. I'm like, you're shitting me. And they're like, yeah. I'm like, damn, I was going to watch that too. I did end up finding a copy of it, and I'm just like, what? There's no story here. It's literally two women. This is a B movie, etchy thing. What am I watching? And I'll tell you what, it's a good thing I was hammered off my ass while watching it, because I would have turned it off. Leaning it over here saying, Cat Girl is a chain smoker cat. Probably feeds on mosquitoes and birds. That probably the case. I don't know, man. I haven't seen it. Chris says, my neck issues come from when I broke my C7. Oh, God. C7 and ruptured the disc between C6 and C7. Ow. With a 20% infringement into spine. Ow. They can fix it, but the best they can give is 50-50. So I just deal with it. again, ow, you win. Okay, I'm not gonna say shit on that because I know no stretches, no movements, no exercises, no medication, no nothing that can take care of that. That is strictly a surgery thing, and you would need a very, very specific specialist to even get that done correctly. Honestly, I'm just like, dude, ow. That's all I can say is ow. Oh, jeez, man. You make me want to drink, man. Lena says, I think I pay attention to the anime that comes from Star Wars these days. I don't know what to tell you. Some of their areas are not completely covered by Kathleen Cunty and totally ripped apart. You know, if you can get away from that, they can make some really good stuff. Now, what I miss is the fan-made stuff. The fan-made stuff was so much better. So much. When they did for a while there, they were doing lightsaber duels. And I'm only going to use the right name instead of laser dildo because these guys did such a good job. I mean, it is absolutely the only thing they did cliche that was driving me crazy is towards the end of the quote unquote duel, they would always slow down. Whenever the movement slows down, you know the duel's about to end, which I think is stupid because duels always end with a sudden slash because everybody's moving so fast. Actual duels. How do I know this? Somebody actually taught me how to sword fight. Will I ever need it? I doubt it. I seriously doubt it because who the hell fights with swords nowadays? But it's one of those better to have and not need than need and not have situations. And by the way, when you watch the anime, I parry everything. Yes, that is where you start. It is not the constant slash. I'm going to practice slashing all this like all the anime say. Wow, I'm going to sit there and slash and this is going to make me the great. No, the very first thing is you learn to parry to the side. That you don't learn how to slash yet. You learn how to defend yourself because if you can't defend yourself, you're dead anyway. At least that's how my instructor said it. Let's see. Lena says, Chainsmoker Cat is probably half human, half cat. Ooh, half cat girl. Because she has a very normal cat girl sister in college who's helping her to survive her cigarette addiction. Okie dokie. I got nothing on that. Again, I haven't seen the series, guys. I have not seen the series. It sounds funny. It just sounds funny as fuck. I thought it was a joke. If this isn't the epitome of grasping at star or at anything, god damn, I can't even talk. I need more drinks. Then I don't know what is. They're grasping at straw of something fierce. So yeah, maybe it's going to be one of those where it turns out better than it should. Cross your fingers, folks. Cross your fingers, cross your eyes, cross everything you got two of. All right. Chris says, it's no big, just annoying, I'm sure. And of course not service connected. Of course not. Yeah. When I went in and told them the side was all screwed up, they said, oh, yeah, you didn't say that when your IED. I was like, we had other guys who needed to be serviced because they were freaking bleeding out. You really think I'm going to give a shit right at that point? Pricks. Tiny little pricks. Garth says, something crazy about the show is that it's kind of educational, really, because it shows just how quickly someone can smoking become addicted to destroy your life. Okay, on that note, I can 100,000% agree that's true. How do I know? Because this is what happened to me. When I was in high school, everybody just kind of smoked. Why? Because me personally, I'm a Zennial. So I'm at the tail end of Gen X. We Gen Xers, we grew up with parents, cousins, neighbors, friends, parents, and everything. Everybody fucking smoked, okay? It was just a thing. Everybody smoked. I mean, to this day, when I talk about smoking with my dad, he goes, I miss it. I miss smoking. I'm like, yes, so do I. I miss a good cigar. I won't smoke a cigar, but I miss a good cigar. Emphasis on good. So we thought to be adult, you had to smoke. So I'm bumming cigarettes off, folks. And one of my brother's friends, which actually just seemed to be a good guy, he said, dude, you're addicted to cigarettes. I said, no, I'm not. He goes, tell you what, you don't smoke for a week, and if you can show me you're not addicted, I'll buy you an entire carton of cigarettes. I said, you're on. Within 3 days, I don't have headaches. I don't have cravings. I don't have any of that, but my hands are shaking. And I walk up to him like, dude, is this normal? He goes, that's withdrawal. I'm like, what? I mean, I could write just fine because my hand's actually resting. But as I'm walking, my hands are just shaking. I'm like, what the fuck? That's withdrawal? He goes, yeah, withdrawal from being addicted. I'm like, dude, don't ever give me a cigarette again. He goes, good. And then he lights one up because he's addicted and he knew it and whatever. Honestly, I think he didn't want me bumming off his cigarettes because I was too young to buy them. Regardless, yeah. That you can get addicted without even realizing you're addicted yet. It's crazy how fast. And Chris says, it's no big, it's okay. Yeah, I just read that. Let's see. Gar says, as shown by the fact that she's so heavily addicted to smoking that she can't even make it through one workday. Like she's made it 7.5 hours and then ran into the store and got herself a cig. I'm sure it's something along those lines. I've seen that happen. Guys, with my time in the service, this is how I knew people were wasting their money on cigarettes and how they were completely addicted. Instead of being broke and saying, okay, fuck it, I'm going to kick this habit. I'm standing in line at the shop at. These guys are sliding nickels and pennies across the counter, counting them out so they can buy one pack of cigarettes that's going to last them a weekend. I'm like, dude, you're a 2-pack a day smoker. That's not going to last you 3 days. Okay, it's the middle. It's like Friday at noon. This is not going to last you until tomorrow. It's crazy. And I will say this, what made it even worse is when we had E7s, platoon sergeants in particular, and you could see in their pouches they had cigarettes, but they would bum cigarettes off everybody, saying, oh, yeah, you got to share, support everybody. Yeah. I said, okay, yeah, I'll take one. You know, all of that, and they'd actually blow smoke rings and whatever. And then when everybody else was dry, they would pull out their fresh pack. This is just mine. Don't ask me for any. Fuck you all. I'm like, okay, what the fuck over? And you'd be astounded how often that happens. I've seen Army guys do it. I've seen Marine guys do it. I've seen Navy guys do it. The only ones I didn't see was Air Force guys do it because at that point, I wasn't working with them all that much. But it is just infuriating that they're bumming off everybody else and then they tell everybody to fuck off. Anyways, Leonid says, in the past 2 weeks, I was reminded of the early days of Harry Potter fan fiction that is called My Immortal. I have watched a reading and probably liked it. It gets better. I probably forgot, but KOTOR and SWATR games taught me laser sword movements. I'm at a loss on these. I will say I did play a VR one where it was supposed to be you're fighting against Luke Skywalker or Darth Vader. I beat their ass. It's not that hard because, again, I was actually taught. I knew what I was doing. And the fact that they actually have it where you can't just slide the blade down and slice your own damn fingers off, it is what it is. One of the things was I would actually come down, like they would actually come down a vertical slash. It's always why is it always a vertical slash? I don't know why. But when they come down to vertical slash, all you do is parry off to the side And before you actually spin back the other way, you got to remember, this is a laser. It don't have an edge. Everything's an edge. You just come straight back up towards them, taking one step forward with the VR, and you slice their guts open. The only problem is, again, it's a laser. You're going to see some shut, but then you see there's Vader backing up, doing that dragging air thing because you just kicked his ass. And I'm like, okay, let's do this. And then friggin' swat his hand over a little bit and then friggin' take his hand off. There goes his friggin' laser sword onto the ground. And then you're like, okay, where's the problem here? And then they up the difficulty more and more and more. And here's what I found. Now, I don't know if it's the same thing with these, what the hell did you put it? You know, I scrolled up the wrong way. KOTOR and, Star Wars, the Old Republic. I don't know what KOTOR is. Anyways, I found out that if you actually have the VR headset and you're playing these, you'll actually slash, and guess what? Your laser sword will pass by theirs, and theirs will just come down in your face. It's total cheating, but they do it. Let's see. Lena says, maybe chain smoker cat would help people quit smoking and clean up their room. One could hope. At least it should make you clean up your room. Yeah. Now, one of the beauties of having a clean room, now I can't see, you guys can't see it, but my room is an absolute fucking mess until I get most of the stuff downstairs. But one of the things about having a clean room and making your bed first thing in the morning, and this is honestly, when I heard this speech, I was like, every young boy needs to hear this. And they need to hear it like once a week for like a year until they get it. No matter how shit your day is, when you wake up that morning and you make your bed, you've accomplished something. No matter what, you've accomplished something. And that can lead into more accomplishment. And it's extremely important, especially for teenagers, to accomplish something and continue accomplishing, moving forward. But when you have an absolute shit day, no matter what, you come back to a freshly made bed and a nice clean room, and you can tell the world to go fuck itself. It plays in a lot. And they won't understand until it actually happens. And when it does, you're going to see that switch flip. And it's going to just make life easier for them because they're going to be smart about it. And like the man says, life is hard. It's harder if you're stupid. And I will say about certain media getting kids to do the right thing. I don't know if you guys heard about this. But apparently in the latest Toy Story movie, they did something about the iPads, and now a bunch of kids are going home and tossing their iPads in the closet, tossing them in the trash, just getting rid of them. They're just saying, bye, I don't want it. And apparently it made such a big impact. There's just video after video after. Now, I didn't watch a lot of them, but it was something to watch a compilation video about 20 kids saying, I don't want to even turn my iPad on. I want you to take this away from me. And one kid actually broke it, actually picked up a stone and broke his iPad, didn't want it. I'm like, okay. That kid's probably better off without it. Let's see. Chris he's quoting Mark Twain. Quitting smoking is easy. I've done it hundreds of times. He was a cigar smoker like me. And I'll tell you what, a good cigar is very hard to turn down. That being said, I've done this. Somebody handed me a cigar. I'm like, oh man, I haven't had a cigar in a while. What the fuck was that? And they're looking at me like, oh, that's a cigar. I'm like, no, it's a piece of shit. What the hell is that? That thing's drier than all hell. It's full of chemicals. What the hell? Get that away from me. Oh, man, I offered you a cigar and you're doing that. No, you offered me a dog turd that lights. That's what you offered me. Anyway, Lena says, I know that they made a couple of old Republic video games that made was Disney before Disney, and there were different sword styles. European knight stance, samurai stance, dual wield stance, and dual lightsaber stance. Now, I don't know what the difference between dual wield stance and dual lightsaber stance is. Now, I will say, me personally, I excel at dual wielding. Even my instructor said very few people do the same thing. There was 2 other guys in my class who also excelled at dual wielding. One I have never beaten. He's always beaten me. That being said, when we actually lined up, he's like, he would even say, dude, or let me phrase this right. When I would tell him, dude, how come I can't beat you? He's like, do you have any idea how long you fucking lasted? I'm like, I have no idea. He goes, I was watching the clock. You lasted 4 minutes. It's like, what does that matter? He's like, these are done in 10 seconds. What the fuck, dude? But he just had a natural talent for it. Not only did he have a natural talent, but he worked at it. And he worked at it because he was good at it. He enjoyed it. I mean, who the hell doesn't like beating the shit out of your buddies? That being said, the only one, at least with the dual wielding, that ever gave us problems was the, as you put it, European knight, which was basically broadsword. Main reason is trying to parry a dual-handed sword is extremely difficult. That is a lot of foot movement trying to act. You're not just parrying, you're trying to move out of the way at the same time. Because when they had the actual training dummies we were using, or rubber ducks as we used to call it, that thing was heavy. I mean, it mimicked an actual broadsword. It was heavy like a broadsword. So whenever I actually tried to deflect away, a lot of times it would buckle and suddenly I'm getting hit on my side. I'm like, dude, how did you do that? It's like, I don't know. I came down and pushed towards you. I'm like, holy shit. You learn real quick when you get your ass kicked. And I still don't know what dual lightsaber stance is, but whatever. Hey, Joseph's here. How you doing? Chris saying, thinking of social engineering, rap is finally dying. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Thank you, God. And oddly enough, one of the key things that's killing it is AI. AI cannot do rap worth anything. And if it does, it actually tries to have some sort of meaning, and rap is not supposed to have meaning. It's supposed to incite you to do something stupid. And they have a couple AI ones, like they have AI music on military stuff, like 11 Bravo, 68 Whiskey, 13 Delta, 13 series, and all this other stuff. They have one literally with mortars called Here Comes the Boom, which is pretty good. I mean, it's not great. There's a few spots you're like, what the fuck? But it's not bad. If they used it as a template and they adjusted it, it would sound a lot better. But yeah, rap is dying and rock is making a comeback. And when rock makes a comeback, you're going to see a lot of things change. Rock music will incite certain demographics that will change society potentially violently, but for the better. I know that sounds weird, but it is. And a lot of the social engineering with rap, which honestly, how do I put this? Just like with every single song, if you were to actually listen to the lyrics, you would have a completely different look at things. Okay? Case in point, I used to listen to country music when I was a kid. I know. I hang my head in shame on that one. But in particular, Reba McEntire was huge when I was a little kid. She came out with a song called Fancy. If you actually listen to the lyrics, all it came down to is her mother put her on the streets because she couldn't afford her ass. And she ended up literally sleeping her way to the top using the power of the pussy to raise herself more and more and more somehow not getting caught up in drugs, somehow not getting STDs up multiple orifices. And now she's like a famous actress or whatever the hell, because she's so great. Why? Because she literally fucked her way to the top. That's a real good thing to tell young girls, isn't it? Oy. I mean, it's crazy. And that's the type of social engineering I just want to burn to the fucking ground. And the thing is, a lot of people think, oh, country music's great. Country music has not been good since the last of the singer-songwriters, which I believe was Aaron Tippin, was pushed off to the wayside. He was one of the last singer-songwriters ever in country music. After that, you had Billy Ray was kicked away because he wouldn't sell himself off. You had Garth Brooks, who sold himself like some common street whore. If you don't believe me, you just listen to the hippy-dippy bullshit he got in the early 90s once he sold out and was doing concerts and stuff like that. His original stuff was good. He sold out, and it just turned into dog shit. It was let's save the world. Let's all sit here and sniff flowers and shove cocaine up our asses while we just love each other. Fuck all that noise. Okay? It's okay. I'm going down the damn rabbit hole. I'm down the rabbit hole, guys. I'm sorry. I'm coming back. I'm coming back. All right. Garth says, I mean, hey, my room is also a complete mess, but it looks a little better because I just did 2 loads of laundry today. Well, yeah, just make sure you fold them, hang them up, and put them away. FYI, guys, if you have a standing fan, get one of those drying racks for your clothes. Believe it or not, you can cool your room off and dry your clothes at the same time and probably save yourself $5 in energy. Guard also says, I think I might get started on taking some clips from Gears of War Judgment again. Hey, I'm all for clips. And by the way, if nothing else, what I plan on doing is taking the clips. I'm going to put them there, but I'm going to put a whole bunch of buts in between each of the clips. So you don't know what type of butt's going to be there. But, oh, you bastard. But I will make sure there is something there. All right. Lena said, KOTR stands for Knights of the Old Republic. Okay, I didn't know that. And then Star Wars, the Old Republic stands for Old Republic sequel that happened 300 years before KOTR. Yeah, believe it or not, how do I put this? The information dumps they did for those, where they were like looking into the past and stuff like that and trying to figure out how the war happened and what caused this other war to happen and all this other fun stuff. That was actually a lot better than, believes me personally, better than the game. Yeah, everybody's hoping you're okay there, Chris, because honestly, it's, yeah. You know where I'm going to be going, and right now my head is kind of cloudy, so yeah, fun. Joseph says, Knights of the Old Republic, Republic styles, are the origin of the International Lightsaber Kata and rating for Jedi Arts tournaments. Okay. Honestly, I like watching those guys do their whole dance with their glowing laser dildos running around. It's real. I appreciate that. I do, because that takes some time, a lot of time and a lot of dedication to get everything down right. Okay. I will never fault somebody for hard work to a actual solid goal. I can't fault somebody for doing the hard work ever. Lena says, you know the laser sword that Darth Maul has? I mean, it was one of those dual wield laser sword stance is just people using 2 lasers. Okay. Now, you guys know my stance on the double-ended laser dildo with the rule of 2. And the jokes write them fucking selves, guys. I mean, it is just there. So anyways, Lena says, the Old Republic is 3,600 years before Luke. And Knights of the Old Republic is a story of Revan probably 3,900 years before Luke. See, I don't follow this stuff anymore. Again, when I was on a tower with a guy who was a Star Wars encyclopedia, and that's all he would ever talk about. Honestly, when we got into the tower, and we're there for like anywhere from 6 to 8 hours a day, and all we're doing, we're looking over fields basically. There's some days I didn't utter a word, not a syllable, not nothing except for, hey, I got to go take a piss. And then I would climb out of the tower to go take a piss. Sometimes I hesitate to even say anything because the guy would just start in on Star Wars lore and would not shut the fuck up. It just got to the point where it was mind-numbing. I kept screaming at him to shut up. I don't want to hear it anymore. Oh, you know who else was told to shut up? This guy on this planet with this fighting this person with it. Ugh. I mean, don't get me wrong. A man's got to have a hobby, but he doesn't have to have that be his life. Okay, War Sniper says, Sin, I managed today to hit the middle of the target with my new bow at archery. Do you use your fingers or do you have a release? That's a good question on that. That makes a big... People don't understand how big of a difference that is. If you guys do not know what I'm talking about, what happens is now is a lot of times in archery, you have a release. It goes onto the actual bowstring string once you actually knock your bolt in, i.e. your arrow. It's actually called a bolt. And your fingers on it on the release. You draw back and you hold until you get a good sight picture. And then instead of actually pulling your finger to actually fire like you would with the trigger, you actually simply release your finger, which is actually so much smoother. And that sucker, as you release, it releases the bowstring. Before you even know what's going on, that bowstring is gone, that bolt is out, and it flies straight. A lot of people still stick with the 3 fingers. And yes, you use not 2, you use 3. 3, 1 on top, 2 on the bottom to actually draw that son of a bitch back. I've never been able to get a good sight picture doing it that way. I mean, I can get a straight shot, but I fuck up my vertical when I do that. But yeah, if you're hitting straight, great. Awesome. Now you just have to put that into a deer's heart. See, Joseph saying, tears in the beers for all. I'll drink to that. Alina says, the last thing I wanted to hear in the news is Moana competing for Supergirl for Box Office Failure Award. Yeah, we went over that in detail earlier. Oh, man. Let's see. Couple guys going back and forth. And so Leland says, I remember 70s anime something, and I know several of the old anime songs from the 70s. Okay, now the thing is, in the 70s, they were really still trying to get their feet under them. So I give them a wide berth on what works and what doesn't. Let's see. War Sniper saying, I use my fingers. Oh. Sorry, I hit the wrong button.
I am shocked. Shocked. Well, not that shocked.
Well, you know, you got to be good with the fingers. I mean, that's important. And of course, you know why the ladies masturbate with these 2 fingers? Because they're mine. Oh, shit. Sorry, that was a very, very old joke. Just like, you know why the lady parts are always slit vertically instead of horizontally? So when they slide down a banister, they don't go. All right. Let's see. Chris says the ladies love archers because they have strong fingers. Yeah, see, somebody's getting. You know where it is. You know where it is, man. Even Brian's like, I don't see anything. Guard saying, no, I will not fold and hang up my laundry. They will shall sit there in either the basket or my chair until I feel like it. Me personally, I hang mine up. The thing is, I actually just pulled the damp rid stuff out of my closet. Holy shit. I didn't realize there was that much fluid in there. The thing's supposed to last a month. It lasts barely 2 weeks, and it's absolutely full. It's in the trash now. Let's see. Joseph says, I used 3 fingers release for hunting with bows until I got a paper cut style slice on 2 fingers and used the release tool. Okay. I always recommend if you're taking precision shots, use that release tool. I didn't think anything of it until I used it myself, and holy fuck, does it make a difference. It is unbelievably smooth when you take your shot, and it's just crazy. Guard says, you know what? If you need anything good for butt content, just look up the Forbidden Pants meme. You'll see some big results. You know what? I'm going to write that down because honestly, here's, God damn it, spit out my fucking pen. Now I need another one. All right. Let me write this down. Forbidden Pants. Usually when I get the bullets, I don't actually go out specifically to look for this sort of stuff. I mean, I did to start with, so I had something to work with. Usually what I end up doing is when I'm looking for thumbnails for the individual videos, I will finish what I'm looking for, and then I'll put in like hot or sexy or something like that and just see what comes up. And unfortunately, 99.9% of what's up there, I definitely couldn't use because holy shit. The amount of Rule 34 crap that is not safe for work is just insane. I actually get a little irritated with the fact that I'm scrolling. Can't use that row, can't use that row, can't use that row. Can I use, oh shit, can't use that one. Can't use that row, can't use that row, can't use that row. Oh God, how far down do I gotta, can't use that? Can I use that? Son of a bitch. You know, it's like, oh, maybe some girl's boob is hanging out, or maybe she's not actually wearing underwear, or whatever it might be. Like, case in point, like this one here. The only reason I can use this is because Wonder Woman is wearing a fucking thong. Okay. If she was just standing there without any undies on, I couldn't use this because YouTube would tag me in a fucking second. That's how ridiculous it gets. Now, me personally, I don't believe nudity is ever a problem. Okay? To me, nudity is not sexual content. It never was. That being said, I don't run the algorithm. Anyways, Lena's up here saying, I didn't know that one of my favorite anime that I watched before already is airing with 3 episodes in it. Really, which one? Chris says, the ladies love their release tool.
Giggity giggity, giggity goo. Stick around.
And then he says, I take no offense in being called a tool. Yeah, even guards laughing on that. Yeah, Rule 34. Welcome to the internet. Yeah, trust me, I know. What really gets me is how prevalent it is to the point where you can't find what you're actually looking for. That's the only thing that gets me. It drives me absolutely crazy. And what really drives that part home is a lot of this stuff I can't use is so well drawn. It was just, it drives me crazy because I can't use it. In one case, I used a picture of this one. It was one of the Sisters of Battle, and she's literally turned the other way, and she's wearing breeches. And then I looked close and realized, wait a minute, something doesn't fit right. So I did a reverse image search and realized that somebody had actually added the underwear for the same reason I'm talking about. And it's just crazy. So it is what it is on that one. And if that means I end up looking at a whole bunch of 3D and 2D, lack of bush, okay, so what? But I mean, it's just when I'm trying to find something specific, like what I can show on here, it gets annoying. Pure and simple, gets annoying. All right, dark fantasy anime. I don't know which one you're talking about, dude. You're going to have to actually either give a description or give a name, because I don't know which one. Anyway, before anything happens, make sure you guys are still subscribed. Guys, I've actually seen my subscriber count drop over the past, month. It gets a little ridiculous. It is what it is. I can't change too much, or I should say, it'd be nice if my subscriber count didn't drop because YouTube just decided to kick people off. That being said, I don't see anything else coming up on the chat box. So I'm just going to give it a little bit. Maybe we'll watch one more video here. Where the hell were we? I don't remember where I was. That one's 3 minutes, so I don't think I'm going to go that far. Maybe we'll shoot down some planes. All right, on that one, all I can think of is as the guy's flipping over. Honestly, I think he tagged the pilot. So as he basically is trying to do a split S at 100 feet, which you can't do, I can just actually see putting on the animation of Starscream screaming, I'm stupid, crash. Sorry, I'm just writing this down. Clevatis? Is that what you're talking? I don't know what the hell. I'm going to have to look at this one, and I'm going to have to look at the chain smoking cat to see what the hell you guys are talking about. Anyway, we've been going for almost. Whoa, sorry, I bumped the microphone. We've been going for almost 3 hours now, which means, guys, I'm a little burned out, and my jaw actually hurts. Not to mention, I'm starting to come off of the bourbon, which may or may not be a good thing. That's just soda. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call it tonight. I'm going to give the safety brief. You guys know, if you drink, you don't drive. If you drive, you don't drink. If your buddy wants to drink and drive, feel free to beat their ass. It is a lot easier to explain to the cops why you broke your buddy's nose than it is to explain to everybody why he broke his fucking neck. Also, for yourself, you guys know the rule. If you are too far gone, you call someone. I don't care if it's an Uber. I don't care if it's Batman. You call somebody to take your drunk ass home. Okay. FYI, it still works. A $20 bill in your sock is your backup. Say, hey, can you drop me off? I'll pay for fuel. Most random folks will still drop your happy ass off. Pay them the $20 for gas, and you're back home. Everybody's safe, everybody's secure, and you just need to go and drink a lot of water. Aside from that, also, if your little soldier goes into the bush, make sure he wears his poncho. It gets wet in the bush, at least if you know what you're doing. You know, you don't need a gift that keeps on giving, guys. Ain't worth it. It is definitely not worth it at all. I unfortunately know somebody who damn near offed himself because some lady decided to do that to him. No shit. She went out and deliberately got messed up so she could mess him up so he would have no choice but to stay with her. That's the cliff notes of the story, guys. It is that fucked up out there. Don't get caught up in that bullshit. All right, if you end up going for the heavier drugs, or if anybody offers it, say, hold on, I got to wait for Syntax to show up, and then escort your happy ass out of there before you get in trouble. Guys, it ain't worth it. You're going to end up with an empty bank account and on the street. Seen it happen enough times. I do not want any of you guys messed up, okay? Speaking of messed up, be careful on the roads. If you see one deer, there is another one somewhere. Slow down. Just if you see a critter on the road, slow down because you don't know what else is going to jump out. I have literally a deer ass print on the front of my car because I did not slow down enough. Pure and simple. So, on that note, guys, take care. And I will see you all next time right here. Same Syntax time, same Syntax channel. And again, take care. This is your host, and I'm punching.